Hi, my name is Robin Wong. I'm a photographer based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And I have with me the new Nikon Z6 III. And I want to share my 5 reasons why I'm very impressed with this camera. Let's do this! As usual, before I start, here are some very important disclaimers. This is not my camera. I did not buy this Nikon Z6 Mark III. I'm currently at the Nikon's official launch of the Z6 Mark III here in Malaysia, organized by Futuromic, the official distributor of Nikon in Malaysia. I'm invited as a guest, and I'm just seeing this camera for the first time. Having used it very briefly for about 15-20 minutes, shooting around, having a quick hands on the camera, I do want to share my first impression, my initial thoughts on this camera, and why I'm actually very impressed with this camera. Reason number 1. The 5-axis image stabilization that's built into this camera is the most advanced in the market today. It follows the same image stabilization system that is found in the Nikon ZF, which means that the image stabilization is optimized to the focusing point that you have selected in the area that's chosen for the camera. And I find this really fascinating. I like how Nikon actually pushes the image stabilization further, optimizing it for that particular area. And a lot of times I've set my focusing point away from the center, whereas everyone else in the industry now, they just focus their image stabilization on the center of the frame. And as I move the point away from the center for creative compositions, I can be sure that the image stabilization can take care of steadying my shot wherever my focusing point is. I think I'm really impressed. That's really good job, Nikon. Reason number 2 why I'm impressed with this Nikon Z6 Mark III is the autofocus system. Nikon claimed that autofocus is very close to the flagship level from the Z8 and Z9, and to me that is truly impressive because I need an autofocus system that's reliable, especially with subject detection, focus tracking, especially when I want to shoot moving subjects, right? I shoot a lot of people shots, I shoot event shots, I shoot fast action shots, and I've tried the previous Nikon Z5 after numerous firmware updates. I actually think that Nikon Z5, although it's an entry-level camera, has very good autofocus system. Now this Z6 Mark III, it takes it a lot further than that. It's a lot faster, more reliable, and even has low light shooting improvements. You can focus down to -10 EV, provided if you use an f1.2 lens, but shooting in low light is something that I do a lot in my photography. So having such drastic improvements will definitely improve my chances of getting my shots. So yes, I'm really impressed with the autofocus system as well. Reason number 3 why I'm impressed is the electronic viewfinder. Now this is the best electronic viewfinder for any Nikon camera system for now. It features a 5.76 million dots OLED electronic viewfinder. I know it is not the highest resolution in the market, but it has 120 frames refresh rate. It has 4000 nits brightness, which means if I shoot this under bright hot Malaysian sun, I can still see the viewfinder very clearly. And having tested the viewfinder itself, it is very smooth, it is lag free, there's minimal delay. Exactly what I see in real life and what I see in the viewfinder is exactly the same. I didn't notice any delay if there is any. And it's bright and the colors are looking great. I can see myself using this viewfinder a lot, and that's really great. The 4th reason why I'm impressed with this Nikon Z6 Mark III is the handling of the body. This is actually quite a small size body for a full frame mirrorless. It seems like about the same size as the OM1 Mark II, a flagship from Micro Four Thirds, and it weighs about 760 grams. That's not too bad considering that there are Micro Four Thirds camera which weighs more than that. So weight is manageable if I pair it with smaller lenses like this 24 f1.8 lens and some small prime lenses. I can manage with the combination of smaller lenses and this camera. Handling wise, it's amazing. The camera feels very comfortable in the hand. It has beefy hand gripping area. Everything is at the right place. The buttons, the dials, everything feels just right. The camera, of course, is made of magnesium alloy body, so build is not a problem. It's weather sealed. It's rated down to -10 degrees Celsius freeze proof. So in terms of use case scenarios, this camera can handle extreme shooting shooting conditions, no issue whatsoever. So yeah, handling is good, the camera feels really solid in hand, it's very well constructed, it really inspires confidence. Reason number 5, pricing. Yes, this is not the lowest level price from Nikon, this is a mid-level price, and it does increase over the Z6 Mark II. But if you compare with the flagships Z8 and Z9, where this camera does have very similar features, it does have internal RAW recording for video, it has improved image stabilization. In terms of autofocus speeds, it comes very close to Z8 and Z9. Performance-wise, this camera comes very close to flagship level, and yet it is asking for a lot less. And if you really compare with Micro Four Thirds flagship, this camera is a full frame mirrorless, and there are some things that this camera does better, some things it doesn't do quite as well as Micro Four Thirds. But the asking price, if you compare with say the OM1 Mark II, in Malaysia at least, this Z6 Mark III is asking for less. And here is the thing, like I know I'm not happy with my OM1, and I know that the OM1 Mark II is not exactly giving me a significant upgrade, and there are two things that I look for in an upgrade camera in the future, right? If I were to upgrade to my next camera, I need a significant improvement in terms of image quality, which the OM1 Mark II doesn't give me. It's basically the same image quality as my EM1 Mark II from 2016. That's like 7-8 years ago. And worse, autofocus performance, the OM1 is taking a step backwards. I've talked about this before, I'm not going to repeat it here. I'm not happy with OM1's autofocus performance. I don't think the OM1 Mark II improved the autofocus significantly, but having tried Nikon's autofocus system, I'm truly convinced, I'm truly impressed. I'm not saying that I will buy the Z6 Mark III, I'm saying that if I were to upgrade, this should be at the top of the list of my considerations. That's all to share about my 5 reasons why I'm very impressed with this Nikon Z6 Mark III. I know this is a hybrid camera. I didn't really talk about the specs in terms of video recording. I'm not a cinematographer, I don't do videography a lot, I'm a photographer. So from a professional photographer's point of view, I'm truly impressed with what Nikon has done in this Z6 Mark III. Indeed, they have pushed quite a few boundaries with their partially stacked image sensor on this full frame sensor. Of course, I can't test image quality yet because there's no RAW compatibility in terms of post-processing, but I would imagine that it's a full frame sensor, and we'll expect from a similar full frame performance from any of their previous cameras in terms of speed, autofocus, in terms of image stabilization, in terms of build quality, in terms of handling, ergonomics. I think the Z6 Mark III, it got it right. If you found my sharing beneficial, please consider buying me a cup of coffee, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal. Links in the description below on how you can do that. Any small contribution goes a long way, will definitely help me to continue making more content and publish them right here. Until next one, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.